Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses. We're back here to discuss the day's news, the latest goings on at Manchester United, of course, dissect the latest info and just discuss it as a community, etc. What's going on? Thank you very much for joining us for the stream tonight, guys. Hope you're all good this evening. Happy bank holiday and all that. Hope you had a great day chilling out, or if you were working, then hopefully you got paid double time or whatever. It's one of those, isn't it? Get in there, my son. How are we all doing tonight, guys? Thank you for joining. Hit that thumbs up button at the start of this stream. Give us a massive like spike. Smash the thumbs up on it. Share it around. And also subscribe if you're new to this channel. Get yourself in there and subscribe and say hello. And big up everyone who's in the chat here at the start. Must Play, Twisted Fate, Colin, Walshy, Natalia, Flowers, Blah, Andy, let's go, Emily, Andy again there, Dean, Kieran, Yes, Flowers, what's going on? United 90, the Great Cornholio, Connor, Pete, Colin Ralph, and everybody else as well. Thank you very much for joining us for tonight's show. Plenty to get into. Of course, there is a lot of speculation about who could potentially be taking over Ten Hag at Manchester United at the moment. The reality is Ten Hag's maybe staying. We still haven't reached a conclusion as a football club, have we? We know that there is now a review that seems to be taking place, obviously, over the next coming days to decide the fate of Erik Ten Hag at the football club. And I guess that's one for the hierarchy to decide this week. But, you know, Fabrizio Romano this morning reporting that Manchester United board are set to review this week in order to decide on Erik Ten Hag's future at the club. Contacts with representatives of other managers have, of course, already taken place in order to be ready. Up to the directors and Ineos now. Internal talks start today. Crucial days and hours ahead. So, it does look like, obviously, this is being dealt with in the coming days. Hopefully it's being discussed right now, and hopefully we will reach a conclusion sooner rather than later, because for everybody we want to reach a conclusion. We want to reach a conclusion for the United team, so, you know, we can have an idea of what's going on. Maybe the players will understand what's happening. Maybe they can think about looking for some new clubs, some of these shark bags as well who've let us down over the years. Also, of course, Ten Hag will be looking for clarity on his future so he can get on with his life as well. And of course, we as United fans want to know what the situation is so we can just mentally prepare for the season ahead, you know? So there's a very good chance that Ten Hag may still be the manager of Manchester United. If so, we need to know. We need an announcement from the club soon to say that they are sticking with Erik Ten Hag for this coming season. Either that, or they're going to announce that they've officially decided to sack him off and he will be replaced. But as we've discussed, in regards to replacements, there's not really an ideal candidate to come in and necessarily replace Ten Hag. And there's a couple of different managerial candidates here that we've discussed as well, that their situation's just changed in the last 24 hours alone. So it's all going off, guys. There's lots of things that have can happen in the coming days as well to decide what Manchester United hierarchy want to do with Erik Ten Hag. Like, have they got somebody in mind to come in and replace Erik? Is that person available? What if that person just signed a new deal or been offered a new job at a different club, you know? So this is something that we're going to have to contend with. In regards to all of that business, you know, like, Ten Hag is understood to want a quick resolution on this matter due to the fact that obviously he wants to get on with his life. So Ten Hag wants Man United to make a swift decision on his future, but the club's FA Cup triumph may have complicated matters, as it seems they must pay him a higher compensation fee. Should they sack him? I mean, I don't really think that the compensation package is going to be the issue in terms of deciding whether or not he should stay or go. Surely they've got to make a decision for the greater good of the football club in regards to the footballing side of things. Ten Hag reportedly worried, this is from Hurst from the Times, who says that Erik Ten Hag is worried that he'll be sacked this summer and wants to know where he stands so he can start planning for next season or apply for other jobs. Obviously, he's going to have himself a little holiday, isn't he, at this moment in time, and rightfully so. I can only imagine it's been a super stressful year for Erik Ten Hag. It's been a super stressful year for me watching Erik Ten Hag's team play. Never mind him actually overseeing this guff. So it must have been a very difficult time for him mentally, I think, at times, just to try and keep going. Because, when you're 8th place, -1 goal difference, playing like shite, have half of the fan base on your back, it's probably not a very nice place to be, even if you are paid millions and millions of pounds a year to do so, which makes it a lot sweeter. But it's still a stressful situation, still a pressure cooker of a job that to be Man United's manager. And it's the ultimate poison chalice in world football, really. As I say, there's other managers that have been considered for this job to come over and take over from Erik Ten Hag. But the thing is, the landscape is changing constantly. So let's just get into the latest updates of today in regards to some of the managers that Manchester United have been sort of looking at or reportedly been talking to over the last few days. So Potter is one of them, of course. Graham Potter. I don't want Graham Potter, guys. Smash a 1 in the chat if you want Potter. Smash a 2 in the chat if you do not want Potter. Let us know. I certainly do not want Potter because he's just obviously a bit more of a small club manager in the sense that he's never managed a huge club apart from Chelsea, where he went there and shat the bed. So, but the reports are coming out that Brighton are now considering Potter, which makes sense, really. Why the hell would they not want Potter back? It makes perfect sense that Brighton would be considering Potter. So if Brighton are considering Potter and they go in for him and try and rekindle that relationship, then it's a great fit for everybody. And it's another manager that is in the line for the job at Manchester United who is no longer going to be considered. So, my personal opinion on Potter is he's not the right guy for Manchester United's job anyway, but the landscape has changed somewhat today with a couple of different managers, Potter being one of them. It looks like he is earmarked to be the next potential Brighton manager. Mate, Simon Cowie, thank you very much, Simon Cowie, for the super chat, lads. See, let's get some big love hearts in there for Simon Cowie. Thank you, Simon Cowie. Let's read your super chat out here, lad. Cheers for that, dude. He says, hi, Pig. I think the club will complete the review, and with it being the worst Premier League campaign ever and the worst European campaign ever, they have no decision but to sack him, is what I think you were supposed to say there, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, look, my personal opinion is the one good part of our season, which was the FA Cup run, and that campaign, you can't deny, was brilliant. Best in the likes of Liverpool, and beating City in the final, obviously. You can't really argue with that sort of level of achievement in terms of the FA Cup, and we've got the trophy. That's a really big trophy. Obviously, it's not the Premier League, it's not the Champions League, but it's the next best thing for the season. Arsenal finished second, didn't get a trophy. So we got a trophy, but I agree with you though, Simon, to be honest, mate. I mean, if you actually look at the overall picture of the season and analyse the overall picture of the season, it's a shitty picture, lad. Let's be honest. Yeah, that FA Cup win, that triumph, it does massively paper over the cracks at Manchester United. But if you actually consider the overall performance throughout the season, dire, mate. Not even just average absolutely Kieran Dyer, lad. Shocking levels of football from the team, from Ten Hag, from everybody throughout the whole course of the season. Not just one cup run or one game. It's the whole season. I agree with you, Simon. I think if you were another top club in world football, I don't know, Bayern, well, that's probably a bad example because the Bundesliga's gash, but Real Madrid, whoever, Inter, whoever, I don't know. Just saying, if your manager finished 8th place in their league with a -1 goal difference and got dumped out of the Champions League group stage, and you're one of these top clubs, there's no way that they're going to stick with him for the next season, So maybe United needs to be a bit ruthless in that sense because, crikey, there's not just one game that can save us. It's the overall damage been done by the whole season. So I'm with you there, boss. The only thing I'd say is that Manchester United shouldn't really get rid of Ten Hag unless there's a candidate to come in that's going to be better than Ten Hag. There's no point, in my opinion, getting rid of Ten Hag and just appointing Gareth Southgate, mate. Oh, God, no. I'd rather stick with Erik Ten Hag. I'd rather give Erik Ten Hag a brown paper bag to wear over his head and pretend that he's Gareth Southgate instead of actually appointing Gareth Southgate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it depends who we appoint. It depends who's available. There's only a few managers, really, that I'd be interested in taking on, and not many of them are realistic, Like, I'd probably take a punt on Zinedine Zidane if he wanted the job, even though he's got no Prem experience. But does he want the job? I'd definitely appoint big Carlo Ancelotti. He's not going to want the job, mate. We just finished 8th. We got Europa League. He's not going to want the job. So there's Unai Emery's another one. Unai Emery's another one, guys. He's had a great season with Villa, Champions League football. He's just signed a new contract today. So I feel what you're saying, Simon, but only if we've got the right guy to come in and replace Erik Ten Hag. Otherwise, I think we're just destined for mediocrity. With one of these managers that we talked about yesterday in the last few days, McKenna, Potter, Pochettino, etc., they're all bang average melt sticks, lad. So that's the issue here. Unai Emery, here's a report earlier on today. Unai Emery's just signed a new 5-year deal at Aston Villa as well. So he had signed one last month, just to extend his contract at the football club. But now what they've done is they've extended it, and they've also given him a bigger salary, to basically just say, hey, you're our guy. We've got complete faith in you, and we want you here for the next 5 years. So he's not going anywhere, guys. He's got Champions League football. There you go. Unai Emery is officially a villain for the foreseeable future, and that was obvious anyway. But then another managerial candidate that United are looking at, the situation's also changed. So yesterday we had up the odds for the next Manchester United manager, and the top of the list, it actually was Kieran McKenna. Kieran McKenna was odds-on favourite with the bookmakers just yesterday to be the next Manchester United manager, which is crazy because obviously Ipswich Town Championship guff. Obviously, he's done really well with them, coached them well, got them playing good stuff, and done it on a really small budget. So fair play. But it's a gigantic step up to Manchester United. But that looks like that's well and truly off the table now as well, because Kieran McKenna is expected to sign a new deal at Ipswich Town. This is reported by David Ornstein a few hours ago, and probably will be announced sometime soon, or in the morning, or this evening sometime. But this is what he said. He said that Kieran McKenna is expected to sign a new long-term contract with Ipswich Town, 38-year-old Northern Irishman, considered by Chelsea, Man United and Brighton, but set to end speculation by committing his future to Ipswich after securing promotion to the Premier League. I mean, from his perspective, he could certainly do a lot worse, couldn't he, than just signing a new deal at Ipswich. He's got them up to the Prem. That's the hard part. There's very little expectations on Ipswich as well. Like, even if he gets relegated, it's just to be expected, really. And anything beyond that is just a massive bonus. And fair enough, if McKenna goes on next season and comes up from the Championship and gets them playing really good, effective football and winning games in the Premier League to the point where maybe like Ipswich are like 10th or 12th or something come the end of the season, or even just avoids relegation, you've got to say he would have done a tremendous job. So maybe down the line in a couple of years' time, you could see Kieran McKenna being earmarked as a future United manager, but certainly not now. The time is just too soon. So anyway, that link is pretty much dead in the water by the looks of it now anyway, because it does seem like he's on the verge of signing a new long-term contract at Ipswich Town anyway. So there's a few of our key candidates there where the situation in just the space of 24 hours has changed. So Potter looks to be potentially wanted again by Brighton, and it's just a great fit for him in my opinion. Emery signed a new 5-year deal. He wasn't in the list anyway. But then obviously now you've got this deal with Kieran McKenna, and so like it adds further fuel to the flame that perhaps the best thing for Man United to do, or the most sensible thing at this moment in time, if there isn't the right guy to come in and replace Ten Hag, is just simply to stick with Ten Hag for the season. Now, for the start of the season at the very least. Now, if he shat it by Christmas time, then okay, you've had your time. You've had your money, you've had your time. See you later on, pal. But considering like the other candidates that are available, the list of other managers, what are we going to do? Sack Erik Ten Hag and get Pochettino in, mate? Mauricio Pochettino? No thanks. So it's slim pickings out there for the club in terms of managerial appointments. If there was a clear candidate available, if Big Carlo was free and just licking his lips at the prospect of being the next Man United manager, I'd say sack Ten Hag right now. But because we're looking at the prospects of appointing freaking Gareth Southgate, I almost am more inclined to just think that Erik Ten Hag probably should be given a little bit more time on the basis, not the basis of him doing well because he shat it last season, but on the basis that he could do well if he didn't have all these injuries and all this bollocks that people say. Let's find out. And also on the basis that there just isn't the right people available to come in and replace him at this moment. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys, unless there is going to be a big revelation in regards to a new potential manager, somebody that we can all get excited about and that we just know has the experience to come in and do the job. It's very likely that Ten Hag will stay at this stage, I think. But who knows? Obviously, they are doing a review at this moment in time, so we will see. But let's ask the golden question to the chat once again, guys. Are you Erik Ten Hag in or Erik Ten Hag out? Get your thoughts and opinions in there.
Get in there, my son.
I am Erik Ten Hag out if we can appoint one of the top managers in world football, which is what's required for a club like Manchester United. Or I'm Erik Ten Hag in if the prospects of the new manager are the likes of Pochettino or Potter or Southgate. These guys, no, thank you very much. I'd probably rather just stick with the stone cold Dutch Ten Hag, But there you go. So get your opinions in here, guys. Let's have a little look what you're saying. Out says Emily, in says Burbalad, get in there my son. Matthew says in, Ryan says in, out, out, yeah. One season, in for now, I'm still out. Urbano, fair play to you, lad. I'm still out if there was the right manager to come in, as I say. Like, let's face it, like people saying, Ten Hag's done us bits for winning the FA Cup. Yeah, that's cool and everything. People forget about just how abysmal we were all season long. Well, I'm sure we haven't forgotten, but, you just, I don't know, for some reason, that one trophy win seems to have undone the whole 50 other games that we played in the Premier League and the Champions League and absolutely shat the bed in, So, I mean, okay, brilliant. We have won a trophy, and it does come down to that at the end of the day. A club like Manchester United should absolutely be winning trophies, and I would rather win a trophy and finish lower down the league than do what Arsenal did, say, which is literally push City all the way to the end, and they're obviously a much better team and a much better place, playing much better football, a much better set of players. So they're obviously further ahead than us. But what have they actually got to show for it at the end of the season? Champions League qualification, great. Nice one. But still, they haven't added any history in terms of winning things. Nobody remembers second place melts. People remember the winners, the champions, the trophy winners. And obviously, Manchester United are the FA Cup winners this season. We've got a nice little bit of glory there. So it depends what your metrics are for measuring Ten Hag's performance as manager. If you're just looking at, he's won us a trophy this season, box ticked, we've got Europa League football, box ticked, okay, fine. But if you're looking at, we need Champions League football, we haven't got that, that's a big red flag there, and we finished 8th and the goal difference -1, etc., then obviously he doesn't come out very favourably because, well, all those things are true. We did have a shite season. Overall, well, there you go, Matthew Smith. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly the point I'm making. It's exactly the point I'm making. Ten Hag has won more in 2 years than Arteta has won 5 with Arsenal. That is exactly the point I'm making. I mean, obviously, Arsenal this season, the way that they played football and the set of players they got together, they are just a much better team than us right now, That's weird to say because that's never usually the case. But I do think this season, if you analyse this season just gone, they obviously gave a much better account of themselves. Their goal differences plus whatever it is, 45th, whatever it ended up at, like really positive. Their style, the set of players they got. Look, Arteta's obviously got Arsenal in a better place than Ten Hag's got United right now. He has had a lot longer, but the key facts are what you just said. Ten Hag's won 2 trophies in 2 seasons, got to 3 finals. So if you're just measuring it on actual successes, actual trophies, he's doing a fine job. He's doing a fine job. Because if we'd have finished 4th or 3rd and won the FA Cup and had Champions League football next season, I think we'd have all been reasonably content. We want to be challenging for the titles, but I think we just realised there is a big gulf in quality at the moment between the likes of United and City and Arsenal and Liverpool right now. So it's going to take time to close that gap, obviously. But I think we would have been happy with this season as long as we actually had a reasonable Champions League campaign and also finished in the top 4. Can't deny that. It's really the rest of the season that lets us down. You know what? What's everyone on, though? What is everyone on, though? Seriously, hang on a second, though. Nearly 80% of the live chat there when I asked in around, nearly 80% said in, right? What's this based on? Is it based on because there's no clear managers coming in? Because if we're actually just talking about Ten Hag's performance for the season, it was gash. It was an absolute F of a season. The FA Cup final was immense, and it saved him in that sense. So maybe it was a D in the end. He got a D or an E in terms of an overall rating for the season. But if you take the FA Cup final out of it, the season's an F. That's how bad it was. That's how bad some of the games were. That's how bad some of the defeats were against gash opposition, how bad we played, how many chances we conceded, how many goals we conceded, how many few goals we scored, etc., 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 etc. Let's just be real, guys. He did a shit job this season for Manchester United apart from the FA Cup win, it's like a big juxtaposition almost, isn't it? Because how can you be so bad in the Champions League and the Premier League and yet manage to do that in the Cup? Crazy. It's a crazy season. But he did have a gash season, guys. I don't care what anybody says. He absolutely let us down this season with a lot of his managerial decisions. The signings he made summer. The tactics were fucking awful. Some of the personnel choices he's made throughout the season. Obviously, there's been injuries. But even so, I mean, overall, it's a very poor season still, even with that FA Cup win, if you ask me. Simon Cowie, lad. Cheers for that, bro. Get in there, Simon Cowie, lad. Thank you very much for a 1999 super chat there, my lad. Let's get some big love in there for him. He says, Pig, if we were going to give the manager 4 years to rebuild the academy and first team, then smothered 3 seasons after that to win the league, Tuchel, Potter, or McKenna could do a better job. Yeah, no. I don't agree, Simon. I don't agree. Pochettino... McKenna's a bit of an unknown entity. If you just look at what he's done so far, it's impressive, but it's a lot different stature football club, right? A lot different levels of pressure and expectation. So not really a fair comparison, really. Pochettino, come on, lad. Okay, he would probably do a decent job of sort of like developing us to the point where we can maybe be like, a contender for Champions League spots. But, I'd much rather have Ten Hag than Pochettino. You know why? Because Ten Hag actually does have a track record of being a winner. He actually has won some things, not just Ajax in the past, but he's won a couple of trophies at United as well. So in terms of just being a winner, Ten Hag's much more of a winner than Pochettino, mate. 100%. Pochettino is a mediocre melter, somebody who just drifts through life and doesn't win a damn thing, mate. That is Poch. Poch the Botch. He's a nice guy, good manager, done well, develops teams well. You can't deny what he did at Southampton, can't deny what he did at Spurs. But is he a winner? No, he's not a winner, bro. So Pochettino, no thanks. And then you said Tuchel. Look, Tuchel is a bit of a, he's obviously got some very impressive wins in his past Champions League victories with Chelsea, etc. He's obviously got some impressive scalps on his record. But he's also, in my opinion, on the back of a very shit season, lad. A very shit season. Over in Germany, and how he's not done better with that side, etc., and just failed the way they have. No, I don't want any of that. I don't look at that and feel inspired. He's got a really fantastic set of players over there, and they've underachieved really this season. So that's no better for me. So actually, the few options you mentioned, and Potter, the only examples of Potter's management we've got is a really fine job that he did at Brighton, getting them playing great football, establishing brilliant foundations, ethics, etc. there. However, then he went to a big club in Chelsea, lasted a couple of months, and absolutely shat it. So that's a big risk. So actually, out of all those managers you've named, Simon, I'll say it again, I only want Ten Hag sacked if we can get one of the, the prime managers in world football, really. Let's be honest, that's what Man United should have. If we can't do that, if we're looking at managers like Tuchel, Potter, Poch, McKenna, Southgate, if we're looking at these absolute mugs, I'd rather roll the dice and stick with Erik Ten Hag for the start of the new season. That's how I feel about it. So, fair point though, Simon. Thank you very much for getting your opinion in there though, lad. Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you very much for your say. Thank you so much, dude. Also, I've missed this from Mike Hill. Get in there, Mike. Mike Hill. Thank you, Mike Hill. He says, Piggy, hear me out. Even if we get Carlo Zidane, we are starting from scratch yet again. And also it could go south fast with Ten Hag. He's 1 more year. Also, manager options will be better next summer. Yeah, that's exactly. If the managerial options are not there, the manager market right now is pretty gash. So Zinedine Zidane is even a big risk himself because he doesn't have the experience of managing in the Prem. Now, obviously, Carlo Ancelotti would be fantastic, very unrealistic. So, yeah, but, it could go south with Ten Hag and he's 1 more year. Ten Hag, does he deserve more time? Does he actually deserve more time? 2 years, 400 million spent, 8th place, -1 goal difference, knocked out Champions League group stage, but he did win a League Cup and he did win an FA Cup and he has developed really good youth players into the side. Like without Ten Hag, probably is no Kobbie Mainoo in the side. And he's like one of our best talents who's going to be one of the best players over the next 10 years for us. Same goes for Alejandro Garnacho to a lesser degree, but certainly Ten Hag massively developed him as well. So, he's obviously shown some good property, some good principles in terms of his managerial approach, but then he's also shown a lot of red flags with some of the decisions that he's made, i.e. playing players out of form just because they're his mates or big names or some of the signings that he's made. So it really is. It's a mixed bag with Ten Hag, mate. It's kind of like 50% good, 50% gash, and that's probably not a good enough recipe for Manchester United, to be perfectly honest. And I just haven't been impressed with him throughout the whole course of the season, apart from in a few key games, you know. Hey, Football Brownie, what's going on? As a Cardiff fan, you remember us finishing 91st and 92 League Cups, but that season we won the Welsh Cup. So does that mean we had a better season than the league runners-up because we won a trophy? I mean, that's a fair point. It's obviously quite different. It's obviously quite a different scenario. But because, you know, it's not the primary domestic cup in world football, is it, lad? Yes and no, though. Yes and no. Obviously, you've had a shit season. Look at when Wigan got relegated, lad, but won a cup. Like, in a way, for a small club, it's very important to try and get a bit of silverware, isn't it? It's like you're always going to be up and down in the leagues. But actually, the silverware, in terms of the history books, it means something, mate. It really does mean something. So, look, Man United winning the FA Cup's a big achievement, man. It's a fantastic achievement. Does it undo all of the other awful performances and mediocre guff this season? No, but it certainly does just, you know, polish it up a little bit, you know? It does. Right, hang on, let me catch up with the chat here, mate. Thank you, Norvi, for subscribing to the channel. Yes, Norvi, look at that. We're 2 subs away from 82,300, guys. Break out the red panties as soon as we hit it. Everyone, if you're new to the channel, take a second to subscribe. We're almost at 82,300. We just need 2 of you legends watching right now to smash the subscribe, and we'll be able to do it during this live stream. So hit the sub if you're new. Also, smash that like button, guys. Take a second to hit the thumbs up. It's free to like the video. It does help us out the old YouTube algorithm, etc., to boost us up there. So smash the thumbs up if you want, and subscribe. Get yourself in there. Nice one. Hey there, Beats guy. What's going on? He says, cheers, Pig. We won the cup. Not a too bad season, eh? Well, besides the league. But I'm buzzing we won a cup. I want Erik Ten Hag to stay. Not too bad of a season, eh? I disagree. I disagree. I think it was a fucking awful season. The worst season I've ever seen in my lifetime as a Manchester United fan. But we did win the FA Cup, mate. So, you know, that is obviously something to be happy about. Of course, I'm buzzing that we ended the campaign like that and we managed to clutch Europa League football and stitch up Chelsea and that. But let's be honest, mate. Come on, not too bad of a season. It's the worst season I've ever seen. I think it's the worst Manchester United team performances throughout the overall season. If you're talking about the levels we've hit, game to game to game to game, the worst ever. If you're talking about the personnel in our team that's been assembled, this team, I think it's the worst set of players we've ever had in my lifetime as well. Awful, awful, awful. So, I mean, look, the FA Cup win's fantastic, but it's a paper over the crack jobby. Ask yourself this question. If we'd have lost that final 2-1 to Manchester City, but still played pretty well, but we'd lost it, because City are a better team right now, let's be honest. If we'd have lost it, would we still be saying that? Would people still want Ten Hag in? It's just the fact that we won that one game against really great opposition, which is swaying people, to be honest, and also the fact that there's not a really clear candidate to come in. But if we hadn't have won the FA Cup final, if we'd have just got to the final and lost, I'm almost guaranteed that 80% of this live chat would be Ten Hag out. Because you'd be basing it not just on one game, but on the whole season as a whole. The whole season as a whole. And I'm sorry, the whole season as a whole, absolutely unacceptable for this football club. The Champions League campaign out the group stage, the league campaign, the goal difference, the style, the football, absolutely unacceptable for this football club. But I take your point. We won a trophy, and I also take the point that, you know, maybe he does need a bit more time because, well, we did have a shitload of injuries this season gone, and also, who else is going to come in? We're going to have Gareth Southgate coming in for him, or rather keep Ten Hag. So I understand what people are saying, but I'm just being honest. I personally think that if we had not won that FA Cup final, which is just one game, remember, one game, anybody could turn up one game. Crystal Palace beat us 4-0 the other day. Are they a better team than us? No, but they just turned up and battered us. You know, we're capable of losing 4-0 to Palace, just like we're capable of beating Manchester City in the FA Cup final. That's the sort of team that we are. So over the course of the season, nowhere near a good enough standard, guys, really. Let's just be honest. Yeah, there you go. Kevin Kilban, awful season, so many defeats. Fulham, Bournemouth, Palace, etc. 14 losses. Champions League was a joke. Yeah, no. Awful season, bro. Players, hey, Shazad Ahmed, what's going on, lad? Players having poor 15 different defenders partnerships. Yeah, no, I get that. It's tough, isn't it? You know, when you've got that level of injuries, we did have like the most individual spells of injuries out of any team in the league. So I do understand that. There's also a level of preparation that has to take place, guys. PPP. Piss poor planning, piss poor performance. This is what happens when you don't get the right personnel in the summer, which is down to not just Ten Hag, but obviously the recruitment team, but a lot of it's to do with Ten Hag, of course. He's identified players that he wants, positions that he wants to strengthen. You can't always get the players that you want. I get that. Maybe the club's let him down in some ways. But actually, you know, some of the decisions that had been made this season by the club, personnel-wise, absolute shambles. Absolute shambles. Like, we should have been signing a defender in the summer. We were talking about Todibo. If he'd have come in, we'd have obviously had a lot better season in terms of having numbers available. Same goes for other positions like the left-back spot. So we let Alvaro Fernandez go out on loan. He's just been sold, by the way, but we let him go out on loan for the season. We really could have done with that guy in the end. We were so threadbare in that position, we had to bring in Sergio Reguilon in order to come in on loan. We had the option to keep him for the season. Nice one. Yeah, decent player. Yeah, get him in there. Extra body. Nice one. What do we do? Break clause. See you later on. Back you go in January because we don't want to pay an extra few quid to speculate just in case we need you. But in reality, we did fucking need you, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. But actually, the overall planning from Ten Hag and the squad depth, the injuries, people explain the injuries. How about having the right personnel in there to begin with? How's about planning for the season properly? How's about having some depth? You know? And also, there were many times throughout the season where Erik Ten Hag's just gone, you know what? Let's just play a round peg in a square hole. Rather than going, what about the youth setup? Why don't we pop in Willy Kambala in there or something? Or, you know, one of these players who could come in and just is an absolute specialist in their position. They're a youngster, but, you know, rather than trying to just force something with a player who is uncomfortable with the role that you're asking them to do, which we saw time and time and time again this season gone. So, I'm very torn, guys. I'm very torn. I would sack Ten Hag tomorrow if the right guy was available to come in. Clearly, the right guy is not available to come in, though. So I'm sort of in a conundrum where we should probably stick with him until somebody else is better or until Ten Hag proves or disproves himself. Because I still think there's always going to be that question mark over Ten Hag if you sacked him now, whether or not he could have gone on to do great things at the club. Well, perhaps he does deserve that little bit of extra time to find out what he can do without all these injuries in his squad. You know, so we'll find out, won't we, if he stays. If not, then I'm not going to lose any sleep over him getting sacked because he's had a shit season, guys. Honestly. If we are accepting those levels throughout the season, something's seriously wrong at Manchester United, you know. Seriously. Okay. I'm missing super chats. We keep you afloat, mate. Stay gold. Get the fuck out, lad. Stay gold. I'm conversing here. I'm talking. Do you think I'm going to be in the middle of a sentence, in the middle of getting some of this information out that I want to expel from my body, mate, and then just immediately, you know what? Oh yeah, Ten Hag, Graham Potter. Yeah. Oh no, wait a second. Let's just stop the flow mid-sentence, lad, and read a fucking super chat out, lad. Do you know what I mean? You got to wait. You got to be patient, bro. You got to wait. Kay and Joey, thank you for the super chat. Says keep him for fuck's sake. Give him time, mate. Fair play for getting in there. Nice one. Paul, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, my concern now is both of Ratcliffe's teams are in Europa and United finished lower in their league. According to UEFA rules, is United really in Europa? What? So you're talking about like that UEFA rule that says that, you know, if owners have vested interest in other football clubs, then they're not allowed to compete in the same tournament. Yeah, I'm not really too sure about that, actually, Paul. I think it's okay, right? I don't know what the situation is with in regards to that right now. Abano Valdez, thank you for your super chat. Sorry for missing your super chats, guys. I'm just in the flow here. I'm speaking, I'm talking, I'm conversating. Pig, if you absolutely had to pick one of these candidates, who would it be, bro? Okay, so if I had to pick a replacement out of these candidates that we've discussed for Ten Hag, it would be somebody who has potential to be very good, not somebody who's proven to be gash or mediocre. So that rules out Poch, it rules out Potter, it rules out Southgate. I mean, potential. So, like, you know, Amorim looks a very good coach, but it's a different league, different style. But potentially he could be a top coach in the future. You know, potentially he could be. McKenna's another one, actually, potentially, on potential. Right now, he's not proven himself at all. He's been a championship manager. But potential, I think potential at this stage for United is almost more important than, like, current managerial ability. Because we're looking for somebody who can be a long-term manager, a shepherd of this football club to take us exactly where we need to go, you know. So I'm looking at potential. Zinedine Zidane is probably the one for me. If you can't get Carlo, I mean, Zidane is technically available, and Zidane has that, like, potential that in terms of, like, he could be capable of getting this side to win Champions Leagues in the future, because he's done that in the past for Real Madrid. But it's a very different team to his Real Madrid team. Let's be honest. Stay Goal, thank you very much. Gifted 5 memberships there. Get in there, Stay Goal. Thank you so much for gifting out 5 memberships. Let's get a hashtag 5 in there for Stay Goal, everybody. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Stay Goal. Thank you very much indeed, bro. Thank you very much. What an absolute legend. Thank you, Stay Goal. Let's get some big love in there. Berber says, honestly, some people are thick. We won a trophy, for Christ's sake. Yeah, some people are thick, Berber. You're thick, Berber, lad. If you think that winning a trophy justifies the shit season that we've had, this season's fucking abysmal, lad. Oh, my God. And you're also thick if you think that other people can't have other opinions to yourself, lad. Do you know what I mean? So, popcorn in the kettle black there, lad. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like, fucking hell. Yeah. Hi, what's going on there, Rajat? Hope you're doing well, bro. Zidane can't and won't speak English. How the fuck's that supposed to work? Do you remember when Pochettino first came in at Southampton, lad? Couldn't understand anything. Had to have a translator. Just saying, that's all. But yeah. That's how it goes sometimes. Shite season with a cherry on top. Precisely, that's a very good way of putting it, actually, do so, Dolphin. So basically what's happened is we've gone into a Michelin star restaurant expecting an absolute slap-up meal, yeah? And we've been served an absolute platter of shite, and they've literally come out and garnished it with a nice shiny cherry on top, mate. And we're fucking starving. So what have we done? We picked that cherry up off top and we've gobbled it down, mate. Even though it's a bit stained. But we're leaving the rest of that shit platter there to send back to the kitchen, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's literally what's happened, mate. You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. Like, anybody who thinks that this season is anything other than an absolute failure, I just don't understand. I do not understand them. Yeah, FA Cup, brilliant, but come on. I mean, goodness me. Goodness me. We have played the worst football out of any Manchester United side in Premier League era. Out of 96 teams in the top 5 leagues in Europe, we have conceded the most chances apart from Sheffield United. We're 95th on the list. How is that the United way? That's the opposite to the United way. That's the Kettering Town way. Do you know what I mean? What are we accepting these days, guys? It's madness, I tell you. Madness. Would I take Jose Mourinho over Ten Hag? No. No, I mean, I like Jose. Jose, obviously, it's one of the best managers of all time, one of the best winners, but I don't think he's actually stylistically fits Manchester United. I think we've got to look for a manager who fits us stylistically. That was the idea with appointing Ten Hag, wasn't it? We were supposed to be appointing a manager who plays like an attractive, attacking Dutch football, total football style of play, quick in transition, pressing, attacking, lots of chances, lots of goals. That was the idea. So it hasn't worked out that way. 95th out of 96. Exactly. Absolutely crazy, eh? Jose is negative. Jose, gash. Yeah, that's it. Stylistically, Jose's just a bit of a defensive-minded manager. A little bit on the, what's the word? Like, yeah, just park the bus sort of side of things. Thank you, Craig Boy. Appreciate you, lad. Haven't seen it yet, but hopefully next season. Kettering Town just got promoted. Okay, maybe not now, Tommy Ball, lad. Okay, maybe not right now. I'm talking about next season when they get relegated, lad. Fair play to Kettering Town, though. That's brilliant. Secret Underdog the Gamer. Thank you for the $3 super sticker. Everybody, please, will we have a big love heart in the live chat there for Secret Underdog the Gamer. Thank you very much for the love there, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you very much, Secret Underdog the Gamer. Andy Young, what's good, Pig? We could have Pep. Anyone on the board and owners don't help out financially, and anyone that is a manager will never win the league due to it. Andy, that's like Dryland in that movie The Waterworld, mate. It's a myth, bro. Are you serious? The board and owners don't help out financially. They don't help the club out in terms of like trying to make the club the best it can be with facilities, etc. But they spent 400 million on Erik Ten Hag. How many more managers? Which managers over the last 2 years that Ten Hag has been there in the Prem has had more money to spend? Maybe only Chelsea as a football club has spent more, maybe. What the fuck? I don't really understand that when people say that he hasn't spent any money. What? What do you mean they haven't helped him out financially? He's literally was allowed to buy Anthony Dos Santos for 85 million euros. 85 million euros for a 20 million pound player. And they haven't fucking backed him financially. It's crazy, mate. They have backed him financially. For that 400 million that he spent whilst manager of Manchester United, we should have seen a lot bigger return on our investment. The reality is he spunked 200 million down the drain on a whole bunch of cash bags. That's the reality. So, no, he did spend the money on those players, man. He was backed. 65 million on Mount, exactly, Gavs. 85 million on Anthony Dos Santos and 65 million on Mount and 50 million on Onana. And you say he hasn't spent any money. It's crazy. It's crazy. He spent a shitload of money. Their negotiators overpaid pig. I don't disagree with that, VK Dean. I'm not blaming Erik Ten Hag for spending 85 million on Anthony Dos Santos. You know what I'm blaming Erik Ten Hag on? I'm blaming Erik Ten Hag for approving the purchase of Anthony Dos Santos for 85 million euros. Because you best believe he's got a say in that, lad. He's not doing the negotiations. He's not doing the final details. Oh, no. But he is the man to say, oh, how much of this percentage of my budget have I got left? Oh, I'm going to spend 40% of it on a fucking fidget spinner. Yeah, go on then. I'll have a bit of that then. He's still got the final say, mate. He's still got the ability to shape this team and say, hey, I want these allocated funds for this position or that position, or we need to spread it around, or we need to focus on this area. So he definitely has a say on spending his budget, mate. 100%. Of course, if you actually analyse all of the signings that Ten Hag's made since he's been here, they're not signings that the club has made. They're not signings that the club's identified, picked some player out of some South American league somewhere and gone, oh, we're signing this guy because he's a fucking baller. Here you go, coach him. No, they're players that Ten Hag's picked out that he knows and likes. He actually rates Anthony Dos Santos. Do you know what I mean? That's what makes me so concerned about Ten Hag. When he keeps selecting Anthony Dos Santos and he gets paid 40 times in a season and he spent 85 million on him and he's fucking shite. That really makes me concerned about where his head's at as manager. How can you really justify that? Unbelievable. Why can't you get behind him, Rick? Because I've seen him oversee the worst fucking football in Manchester United's Premier League history as manager, lad. That's the main reason. To be honest, that's the only reason. I don't even really care necessarily about the league finish. What I care a lot about is the way in which we're doing it. What I care about is the absolute lack of bollocks and guts. That's what I care about, mate. Totally devoid of the Manchester United way. You rate Jack Grealish? I do rate Jack Grealish, but he's not had a very good season, Mark. Jack Grealish not had a very good season, has he? No. Foden's been making Grealish his bitch over there at City. Foden's had an unbelievable season. Grealish hasn't had a very good season. I do rate Jack Grealish. Do I rate him more than Anthony? Yes. I do think Grealish is a better player than Anthony, 100%. But has he had a great season? Not really. No. Last season he had a great season. Grealish was fantastic last year. This season, pretty bang average. Yeah. But I still think he's a much better player than Anthony Dos Santos, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, nice one. Mark says, over the last 2 seasons, Anthony still has more goals average than Grealish. Okay, yeah. I mean, Grealish is playing a bit part over at City for a start, and he had a shit season this season. So what are we doing? Do you want to compare your pile of shit to my pile of shit next, Mark? And you know what I mean? See who's got the biggest, stinkier pile of shit? Is that what you want to do? It still doesn't really help Manchester United out, though, does it, Like, we obviously have... the standards have slipped, mate. The standards have slipped. Right, anyway, sorry, guys. I've gotten a little bit of a sidetrack here. All I'm saying, actually, is... Look, Ten Hag's failed us this season with how we've gone about and how he's coached the team, and the team's been awful, but he's won us an FA Cup. That is brilliant. Nice one. He's obviously won a trophy. That means a lot. This is why I'm almost even considering the possibility of him staying at the football club. And we've had injuries, etc., etc. There's other extenuating factors as to why maybe Man United had such a bad season. But still, he was overseeing that shower of shite. Big time. But if there's nobody better to come in, then, I'm prepared to give him a chance, is what I'm saying. Prepared to stick with him for now. I think that probably the most realistic outcome for all of this, if we did stick with him, and this is not me trying to be negative, this is just genuinely my own opinion. I think the most realistic outcome, if we stick with him, is he signs a couple of players in the summer, not huge money, because why would they want to back a manager with hundreds of millions of pounds who spent hundreds of millions of pounds already on a bag of shite? So they'd probably make him do it on a shoestring budget this summer if he is going to stay. It will be a nice cheap way of doing it for the Glazers. It will suit them down to the ground, and they can justify it because, let's face it, he spunked our money away last season on bags of shite. And then probably the most realistic thing to happen is give it a couple of months and he's sharting the bed. That's what I think, because I've seen him manage every single game this season, and I was very, very much pained by it. So That's just where I'm at. I hope he proves me wrong. If they stick with him, I hope he proves me wrong and we fucking challenge for the league next season. We're back, baby. And it's all just because of the injuries, it turns out, yeah. But I think that's super wishful thinking, guys. The fundamentals of Man United's play style is absolutely gash. Personnel's one thing. You can get players come in, come out, come in and out the side. Your ethos and mentality and style should remain uniform, in my opinion. You know, not always going to be able to play to the best of your abilities if you've got lesser players in the team, but the approach should always be the same sort of way, I think. Super chat. Mate, get in there, Simon Cowie, lad. Thank you very much, Simon says. He's been a member for 44 months, lad. He says, Ten Hag had final say over all transfers 2 seasons ago. 400 million spent, 16 players signed, 10 permanent and 6 loans, 60 million for Mount. Could have bought Maddison and Tielemans. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Simon, you know, like all of the money that we spent under Ten Hag, well, not all of the money, actually, no, sorry. But most of the money probably has been somewhat wasted. Let's be real. I mean, Martinez is an unbelievable talent, yeah. Højlund looks a real good player for us, but most of them, suspect, lads. Suspect signing Simon Cowie. 44 months a member, by the way. Sausage Soldier Hero. Let's get a hashtag 44 in there, please, guys, for the main man, Simon Cowie. Thank you, Simon Cowie, you beast. Appreciate you. Look, by the way, we've got 286 legends in here. Smash the like button. We're nearly at 150 likes. Keep hitting those thumbs ups on it. And subscribe to the channel. Get your thoughts in there. It's where everybody's got different opinions, guys. It's a passionate fan base, right? Some people are Ten Hag in. Some people are Ten Hag out. Some people just cannot tolerate this level of guff at this club. Some people have faith that this level of guff will stop and will turn the corner. So, you know, who's to say who's right? Who's to say who's right? You don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. You know, in 3 months' time, we could be top of the league at the start, you know, after, or at Christmas time, we could be top of the league, or we could be bottom of the league. So, you know, nobody has the crystal ball. But based on the last season, man, if you're just analysing how we played, how he's coached, the players, the team, the performances, the unity, the fundamentals, it's subpar. It is subpar. It is big time subpar. Mate, thank you very much there, Josh Lee, for the super chat. Says Erik Ten Hag is the man. F the other Tin Pot managers. Well, fair enough there, Josh Lee. Yeah, well, I don't want to get one of those gash Tin Pot managers like you say. It would have to be the right guy. And there's only a few of the right guys I think that, you know, that I think is probably the right people for the job. You know, so fair, yeah. Hey, Simon Warner, thank you very much indeed there, bro. Can you get in there raw with a raw emoji for Simon Warner, guys? He says, been on here 25 months now, and it's continuing. Nice one, Simon, mate. Big up yourself, Simon Warner. Thank you for being around here all this time, though. What an absolute legend. What an absolute legend you are, Simon. You actually do have a crystal ball. It's just not working at the moment. Do I remember Sir Alex Ferguson? I mean, I don't, mate, because I was a little baby. Do you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying, Andy. Yeah. Absolutely, you know, sometimes, I said this the other day, sometimes it's a case of, do you give up digging and start digging somewhere else? Or do you keep on digging that hole in the hope that you're going to eventually strike gold? And again, nobody's got a crystal ball, so nobody knows the right answer to that, my friend. Ten Hag could take us to be the next he could be the Dutch Fergie, lad. You know, or he could be the Dutch Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, mate. You know, and just like not really a great manager, but maybe he can sing a song, you know? So I just don't. Nobody knows, mate. Stefan Harrington says McKenna to sign a new deal at Portman Road maybe this week. Yeah, exactly, Stefan. We just talked about that earlier on. So obviously the other managerial decisions, you know, for other managers like Potter, Brighton are looking at him. Obviously, McKenna signed a new deal at Ipswich. Emery's just signed a new 5-year deal at Aston Villa anyway. Not that he was really in the line, but, you know, obviously it's going to depend on what happens with other managers as well. If all of the managers we're looking at are not available, we are stuck with Ten Hag, aren't we? So, yeah. Colin says, totally disagree with the bollocks you are saying, Pig. When we got the butcher back, we played Wolves off the pitch. Listen to yourself, Colin. One game against Wolves. You know, one game against Wolves, lad. Listen to yourself, mate. Yeah, I think it's you the one who's talking bollocks, lad. Have you just... So the metric of being a good side is playing Wolves off the pitch? You're a fucking mug, lad. You know what I mean? You're an absolute mug, lad. What about that 4-0 against Crystal Palace? What about the 3-0 against fucking Bournemouth, lad? What about getting dumped out in the Champions League group stage? What about finishing 8th for the Premier League? What about the -1 goal difference? Are you fucking mad, Colin? I think it's you who's the bollock talker around here there, pal. But, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect it. Actually, I don't, but you're entitled to it. You know? So, there you go. Peter Abate, thank you for your super chat. He says, keeping Ten Hag is like being in a relationship that you know you need to end. I respect you, Pig. You talk sense. One trophy doesn't make me a season. I completely agree with you, Peter. I'm of the mindset of you. One trophy doesn't make up for the awful performance throughout the season. Wouldn't Louis van Gaal be the manager the next year if that was the case? The reason Louis van Gaal got sacked off after winning the FA Cup was because we failed to get Champions League football, which is one of the primary objectives for a huge club like Manchester United. We were playing shit football, which is the opposite of the objective for how you should play for a club like Manchester United. And also, he'd run his course and he'd basically just proven that he wasn't really going to get us much of a different style, or because we'd seen it proven over the course of a season or two. So I agree with you, Peter Abate, personally, lad. I mean, look, it's a split opinion here. Everybody's going to have a different opinion, but you certainly don't need to get butthurt by it, like Mr. Colin Ralph, in regards to saying I'm talking bollocks, whatever, because you're the one talking bollocks, Colin, in my opinion, lad. Yeah. And 50% of the people here will think that I'm talking bollocks, and 50% of people think you're talking bollocks. But nobody knows what the best thing to do is for the club, because Ten Hag could turn it around, but if you're just basing it on what we've seen, you'd be a madman to think that's the case. If you're just basing it on what we've seen so far. Big up yourself, Peter Abate. Thank you very much, by the way, for the super chat, lad. That's absolutely lovely. Get in there, you legend. Yeah. Agendas again. One cup doesn't make a season, sure, but you're forgetting his first season, absolute bollocks. Twisted Fate, what are you saying, lad? I mean, his first season was good, but you can't rest on your laurels for one season. His first season was very good. Very good. But you can't rest on the laurels of a season at a club like Manchester United, personally. Erik Ten Hag's the man. You completely agree. No one knows the right answer, but one more year to find out rather than wondering what. That's fair, Mike. I'm with you on that one. I think that's fair. Unless there is a top manager to come in, you might as well give him a fair crack of the whip here and at least give him till Christmas. If he's got us in 8th place at Christmas, fucking sack him. But the risk of that is that you're giving him more money to spend in the summer on players that the next manager might not want. And you're also wasting a whole nother season. So the season, if he has got us in 8th place at Christmas time, the season's just going to be dead. So you're almost just guaranteeing yourself to a shit season. So, man, horrible scenario, but that's how it is. Erik Ten Hag will blame injuries and no De Jong even next year. Yeah, it's bollocks, mate. Injuries, bollocks, mate. Coach the team, pick the team, sign the players in the summer to give you the depth and the positions you need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with blaming it all on injuries. I think that's bullshit, personally. Loads of clubs have injury problems throughout the season. I think that's bollocks, personally. And in fact, when you actually look at, okay, so in terms of individual spells of injury, we had 41 separate cases of injury, which was the most in the league. But if you're actually talking about just days out injured for our personnel, combined of all our players out injured, we're 6th. So there was 5 teams who had worse scenarios when it comes to having players out injured for longer periods of time. So, yes and no, we obviously did have an injury hit season. But yes and no, everybody gets injuries. You know what I mean? You should have depth to cover it. Tommy Boyle, love that. He says, genuine question, Xavi and tiki-taka football, would it suit us, our style? He's becoming available. Yeah, that's it. So Flick's going over there, right? Xavi, I mean, it's a tough one, that, mate. Xavi, he's just not really blown me away at his time at Barca, to be fair. He's not. But at the same time, in terms of how you want to approach the game, stylistically, etc., that's sort of what we want, isn't it? But fuck Xavi, to be honest, mate. Screw that guy, mate. TCG Hub, what's going on, lad? Pig, what's funny? People sit there and complain that Ollie didn't win trophies, but got us Champions League football, and still complain another manager is winning trophy. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, TCG Hub, to be fair, lad, yeah. But it's an overall package, though, TCG Hub. You can't really have one without the other. You've got to just be a solid team. Like I said, if we'd have finished 4th this season and won the FA Cup, we'd all be saying that's a decent season. But the Champions League campaign, totally unacceptable, and the league campaign, totally unacceptable. So, we've just papered over the cracks with that FA Cup win. Yeah, that's true, 20X's TV. We did have some fantastic games. Last season was a good season for us. You have to give him a lot of credit for last season, definitely. We had a good manager bounce with him. He obviously got us playing better. Casemiro, a big signing that he made, played really well for us, was a big pivotal player in that team. Things went for us more so last season. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to read a couple more comments out here, guys. We need to sign some hard-hitting players who gets the job done by cutting corners, breaking authority. Hey, Jay Chapman, what's going on, lad? Good evening, Alfie Maturi. Why are these fake fans that don't even have a job of their own like to talk shit about other people's jobs? What do you mean there, Alfie Maturi, lad? This is what we do around here, mate. This is football. Like, you are literally allowed to talk about anything you want, and we like to talk about football players and their jobs, mate, and their managers and their jobs, you know? That's what we do around here, lad. That's kind of what football's all about, in a way. A nice one. Would I take Arteta? No, I wouldn't. Views from the bits, mate. No. No. Arsenal gash bag, lad. How come Stream for Darts is gone, Pig? Is it gone, is it? It shouldn't be gone, lad. I set it up on the other channel, mate. It should not be gone. It should still be live there. No, it's not gone, mate. It's not gone. Shit, is that the time? It's still set up anyway. Right, okay, yeah. If he has genuinely lost the respect in the dressing room, he's dead in the water. Any player can get up for a Wembley final. What a great comment as well, LA John. Personally, having looked at how the players have played for him, particularly in that FA Cup final, I mean, I don't, and how they responded to him, I don't think they have lost it with him personally. I don't think he has lost the dressing room. But like you say, motivating a team to win an FA Cup final when they're actually in the final is easy. That's fucking easy, mate. All of these players should just want to turn up to win the FA Cup, mate. It's easy, you know. But was he able to do that against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks before? No. Well, Andy says Piggy also have to realise that a lot of players like Bruno may leave if Ten Hag is sacked, as it means another rebuilding project. They may not have time for that. I'm sure they're just more interested in how the club is doing. Like, if Ten Hag's here and we finish 8th again, Bruno's going to want to go, isn't he? You know, because he deserves much more than that. Looks like a proper centre back can do it for us. Pig's too far gone. Can't believe company's new Bayern manager. That's mad, isn't it, lad? Yeah. It's there. Phone was freaking out. Oh, no worries. Yeah. So the stream is set up, guys. I'm basically gonna have to wrap this stream up actually, but we're gonna go over and do a dart stream on my gaming channel, right, guys? Do us a favour, smash the like button here. Smash that like button. Give us a subscribe if you're new. Now I know it's one of those topics that we're going to talk about a lot in the coming days, and it's going to trigger some people. It triggers me when people say, "Oh, you're an idiot for thinking you should be getting rid of Ten Hag," because, you know, I've got my own opinions, and if you question that, it triggers me a little bit sometimes too. There's a lot of people getting triggered in the chat. I get it, it's a sensitive topic. Not everyone agrees. But even so, like, all this channel is just it's me, Flying Pig United. It's my thoughts on United. So I hope you accept that at the very least. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be like, oh, fuck this guy because he wants Erik Ten Hag out. You know what I mean? And to be clear, I only want Ten Hag out if we could get one of the suitable managers that I think is good enough, big enough for the task at hand. I'm not interested in sacking Ten Hag off if we're going to get Poch, if we're going to get Potter, if we're going to get Southgate, if we're going to get McKenna. I'm not interested. I'd rather stick with Ten Hag. But I'm just saying, if there is somebody out there like a Carlo, or, you know, like a real top manager that could come in who wants the job, then I would definitely sack off Ten Hag and get somebody who's better, because he's been shite this last year. Anyway, that's true, Simon. We'll see what happens. Just opinions. Exactly, Josh Lee. Just opinions. Hello there, Kate Cadet. What's going on, you beast? Yes, thank you, F the man. Thank you, guys. Everyone, yep, right, that's it. Oh, shit, 20X's TV. Thanks for being a member. 34 months, you beast. Let's be having you, 20X's TV, lad. Sorry for missing that, dude. I'm scrolling up trying to find it now. Oh, shit. There it is, lad. 20X's TV. Erik Ten Hag in FA Cup shown what he can do without injuries. What a load of bollocks. Thank you for being a member 34 months, mate. Totally disagree. It's the fucking FA Cup final, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to be banging up for that for the last fucking game, mate. It's the FA Cup final, lad. You know what would have shown him? You know what would have shown what he can do? Doing it over a 38-game Premier League campaign, lad. That's what would have shown it, lad. What did we do over that? 8th place, -1 goal difference, lad. That's what would have shown it, not one game. Anyway. Right, nice one, though. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Right, guys. Yeah, nice one. You're Ten Hag out because you've been terrible with season, boring gash football. He's made some fair play to you, Cake there. Yeah. This is what makes this community great, and everyone has their opinion, and we respect it, including Pigsman. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, that's exactly right. Anyway, Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for getting your opinions in there. Sensitive topic, but you're a bunch of legends. Do us a favour if you want. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the bell icon. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick at Flying Pig United. Check out the website, flyingpigunited.com. Come over to the gaming channel now, guys. We're going to do a cheeky little dart stream. I was going to do FIFA, but I just can't really be asked me. I'm just going to do a little dart stream, just a short one. Let me get you the link once again here. Go and subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming. It's pinned at the top of the chat. And we're going to do a cheeky little dart stream. I am also have got a new darts channel, but we haven't got any content on there yet. I'm building that up. Then we're going to do some darts over there. But if you want, go over here, sub to gaming channel right here, guys, in the chat. Boom. Nut, you legend. Agreed. The FA Cup final is the Catalina wine mixer. Great Step Brothers reference, lad. Erik Ten Hag going to go put his balls on your drum set for saying that, lad. Do you know what I mean? Great Step Brothers reference there, dude. Thank you very much. And everybody else as well. That's the end of this stream. But come on, we're not finished for the night, though. Come and join us in 5 minutes' time for the darts. Here is the link once again. Subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming. Subscribe to this channel, Flying Pig United. And I'll see you over there. Thank you, Peter, Must Play, TCG Hub, Conti Kev, Duso Dolphin, Berber the Legend. All of the moderators of this channel, like Berber and Vutinator, and just everyone who's got in here moderating the chat. Big up yourselves. All the members in green. Thank you for being green legends and members of this channel and supporting the show. And thanks everyone getting your opinions in there, you know. That's what it's about. It's community vibes. So thank you everyone getting your opinions in there. Not everyone's going to agree. Nice one. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Piggy loves you. See you in a little bit for the darts. Here's the link once again, and I'll see you over there. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.